Ah, the classic winter dilemma. You're planning that perfect European ski tip, and you're stuck between two absolute giants of the Alps. So where do you go? Well, let's dive into the ultimate ski face-off, France versus Switzerland.
So how in the world do you choose? I mean, it's the question every skier or snowboarder eventually asks. Are you dreaming of French baguettes and just boundless slopes? Or is it the Swiss chocolate and those jaw-dropping peaks that are calling your name? Let's break it all down.
Okay, so at a glance, the stereotypes paint a pretty clear picture, right? France is usually seen as the big one, sprawling, energetic, and a bit easier on the wallet. Switzerland, on the other hand, well, it has that reputation for pure luxury, picture-perfect scenery, and a seriously high-end experience. But let's see how true that really is. First up, let's get to the good stuff, the reason we're all here, the skiing itself. We're going to talk terrain, the resorts, and what it actually feels like to carve down these legendary mountains. When you think about France, you got to think about one thing, scale. It is just vast. We're talking about some of the biggest interconnected ski areas on the entire planet. I mean, Porte du Soleil is a monster with 580 kilometers of slopes. Then you've got giants like the Three Valleys and Paradisky. It's really all about having this seemingly endless playground where you could ski for days and never, ever repeat a run. Now, how does Switzerland compete with that? Well, it's not with sheer size, but with pure iconography. This is about skiing in the shadow of legends. I mean, come on, you've got the unforgettable Matterhorn in Zermatt, the sheer glamour of St. Moritz, and the seriously challenging terrain of Verbier. The Swiss experience is often more about those pristine, perfectly groomed pistes set against a backdrop that looks like it's straight out of a postcard. Okay, now this is a really interesting detail, and if you're a complete beginner, you're going to want to pay attention to this. France has green runs. You see them there? Those are the gentlest slopes you can find, absolutely perfect for your first day on skis. Switzerland, though, starts at blue. Now, their blue runs are great for learners for sure, but it does mean that an absolute beginner might have a slightly steeper learning curve. Just something to keep in mind. And for you experts out there, the ones looking for that fresh, untracked powder, don't worry, both countries absolutely deliver. France's Chamonix is an off-piste paradise, home to the incredible 20-kilometer-long Vallée Blanche, but over in Switzerland, Engelberg is a total free-ride mecca. The really crucial point here for you thrill seekers, if Heeley skiing is on your bucket list, Switzerland is way more accommodating. France has a lot more restrictions on that front. A ski holiday isn't just about the time you spend on the slopes, right? It's about the whole vibe. So let's dive into the culture, the food, and of course the legendary après-ski scene to see how these two stack up. When it comes to mountaintop dining, honestly, you're in for a treat either way. In France, you can refuel with hearty classics like raclette or a rich bouffe bourguignon, and you can even find Michelin-starred restaurants at altitude. But in Switzerland, it's all about that classic gooey cheese fondue or a perfectly crispy rosti. And of course, you absolutely cannot leave without having some of that world-famous Swiss chocolate. And this quote, it just nails the French approach to après-ski. It's high energy, it's loud, and it often kicks off right there on the mountain. Places like La Folie Douce are famous for getting the party started early, with DJs, live music, and yes, people literally dancing on tables in their ski boots. It's a whole scene. Now, let's contrast that with the Swiss vibe. It's generally a much more refined, sophisticated scene. Think less dancing on tables and more clinking champagne glasses in some chic, cozy lounge. It's all about glamour and a more relaxed, upscale atmosphere to wind down your day. So yeah, if the party is a top priority for you, France is pretty tough to beat. Resorts like Val Thorens, which is Europe's highest resort, and Alpe d'Huez are basically synonymous with world-class nightlife. They even host major music festivals right there on the snow. All right, let's talk about the big one, the factor that can make or break a decision for a lot of us, the cost. How much is all this incredible alpine fun actually going to set you back? Let's get into some hard numbers, shall we? Looking at a standard 6-day lift pass. In top French resorts like Chamonix and Val d'Isère, you're looking at about 255 to 280 pounds. Now hop over to comparable Swiss resorts like Verbier and Zermatt, and you can see that price jumps up to the 325 to 340 pound range. That's a noticeable difference. And this bar chart really just spells it out for you, doesn't it? On average, you can expect to pay a good bit more for your lift pass in Switzerland, and that's before you've even bought your first hot chocolate on the mountain. So what's the bottom line here? When you add it all up,
not just the lift passes, but also your accommodation and your food, France generally comes out as the more affordable destination. Now, you can find budget options in Switzerland, of course, but your money will typically stretch further in the French Alps.
Okay, so we've covered the slopes, we've covered the vibe, and we've covered the cost. Now it's time to put it all together and figure out which of these amazing countries is your perfect alpine match. Let's see if this sounds like you. We'll call this the French ski persona. This is you if you're a marathon skier, someone who wants to cover as much ground as humanly possible. You love those huge linked ski areas, you're looking for a buzzing party scene, and hey, you appreciate getting great value for your money. Or maybe this is you, the Swiss ski persona. This is the connoisseur. You prioritize quality over quantity. You're drawn to that jaw-dropping scenery, a more sophisticated and relaxed culture. You love high-end amenities and just the simple pleasure of skiing on perfectly groomed, uncrowded pistes. So this is it. This is your final decision-making cheat sheet. It really just boils down to your priorities. If you crave endless slopes on a budget and you love a good party, France is calling your name. But if you're seeking those iconic peaks, a touch of luxury, and a more sophisticated atmosphere, well, Switzerland is your destination. Look, at the end of the day, there's no wrong answer here. There's just the right answer for you. So what's it going to be? A trip to conquer hundreds of kilometers of French slopes, or one to savor the unmatched glamour and scenery of the Swiss Alps? The choice is yours.